Hello YouTubes, this is Grimweird coming back at you with more Enigmatica 2 Expert Mod Pack playthrough action for Minecraft 1.12.2. Alright, so in this episode, I want to pursue closing down rifts for Thaumcraft. So we're going to make some Causality Collapsers and make some rifts and try to close them. Now this is a very high instability infusion reaction, so I wanted to move my infusion setup closer to my base. I did have it set up far away from my base for a while, but I didn't like it there, and it was a pain in the butt to run over there all the time, so I just moved it close to my base. That, and since it's a very high instability situation, I sort of wanted to figure out what the stabilization options were in this particular version of Thaumcraft and make sure that I had a well stabilized setup. So that was my first problem. So when you try and Google this stuff, there are a gazillion different answers for what is right and what is good for stabilizing your infusion matrix for Thaumcraft. Even within Thaumcraft 6, there is a lot of different advice. So what's key here is that this is Thaumcraft 6.1.beta 26. The reason that is key is because prior to point 20 or beta 26, they were playing around with powered stabilizers, and they were playing around with limiting the numbers of occult paraphernalia like candles and skulls, and there was a whole lot of back and forth, I think even within version 6 prior to beta 26. Now in beta 26, the quantity of occult paraphernalia, which would be candles and skulls, is not limited. However, there are diminishing returns. So your first pair of white candles will increase your stability gain per cycle by 0.1. Your second pair of white candles will only improve it by like 0.08. Your third pair by about 0.05 or 0.06. I think it's a bit fractional in there, 0.05 something. The fourth pair of white candles will be like 0.04-ish, and so on. So that's key, and they do have to be symmetrical. So in other words, if you have one 5 to the south, you need one 5 to the north. If you have 5 to the south and one east, then you need 5 to the north and one west. So we'll see a bit more of that when we go downstairs to the candle basement. So basically, here's my arcane pedestal, here's my runic matrix. You can see it says very stable and 6.1 gain per cycle. So that the fact that I'm able to see that, I think, is due to my goggles of revealing. So putting those on to be able to tell how stable you are is pretty key. And also, if we do something, just know, like let's say we take out this candle. Now it still says 6.1 gain, but if I right click on it with my caster's gauntlet, you'll see it went down to 5.99. So when you make changes to your stabilization, one, goggles of revealing is helpful to see what they did, and two, right click on your runic matrix with your caster's gauntlet to update the results. So now we put this back, still says 5.99, right click with the caster's gauntlet, it goes back to 6.1. Now that's only a 0.02 change. 0.01 of that is probably from the candle pair, and then 0.01 of that was probably just from the symmetry. Because I've got a lot of candles downstairs, so these pairs of white candles up here are actually just for lighting more than anything else. So what we also have going on, so that's the first thing, is Goggles of Revealing and Caster's Gauntlet. Very helpful to understand what you're doing here and to double check your work. Obviously, the pedestals need to be symmetrical. So in other words, if you have a pedestal that is 1, 2, 3 this direction and 1, 2 this direction, then you want one that is 1, 2, 3 this direction and 1, 2 this direction. They don't add stability, but if they aren't balanced, it'll take stability away. And then we have stabilizers. So you'll notice I'm not using any redstone inlay. That's because pedestals act as a redstone signal or a redstone circuit. So what I've got here is I've got 12 arcane pedestals and 12 stabilizers. Do I need 12 pedestals? No, not really. But pedestals are actually, I think, cheaper than than anything else. So I might as well have the options. And then I think the only thing I think the highest it goes up to is 9. I think there's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 is probably the recipes. So 8 pedestals is probably plenty. So if you are on a budget, you can put down, 2 per side, and then stretch this with redstone inlay to create a circular circuit. Now the reason I like the circular circuit is because if I understand this correctly, and again this might be specific to Thaumcraft 6.1 beta 26, but these stabilizers have the chance to quell or prevent a pedestal event when it is triggered. So in other words, if this one has a pedestal event and it wants to create some flux or taint, I should say, or knock its reagent off of itself, or something like that, this guy, since it is in circuit with this guy, will attempt to stop it. Now, when it does that, it then has a cooldown period. So if you only have 1 or 2 stabilizers, and you want to probably keep these symmetrical too, so let's say you only have 2 stabilizers, well then you only have 2 chances to prevent a pedestal event. Or if those 2 are on cooldown, you won't have any prevention of pedestal events. So, and again, this is just my understanding from reading and doing research. I haven't actually experimented on this yet. But the cool thing is that because these form a big old redstone circuit, it means that this stabilizer is able to act on these pedestals because it is in circuit with them, and it's within 15, the redstone circuit limit. So if every other one of these bad boys was on cooldown and this one was able to activate, it could still try to prevent pedestal events on these 2 pedestals. So that's one of the reasons I have this sort of tight in and make it a complete circle, is that to make sure that every stabilizer can act on every pedestal. And you'll also see I have hoppers next to each pedestal so that if something does fall off, I can have spares in the hopper to repopulate the hopper. And again, I think all of this may be way overkill, I'm not sure, but I'm just looking at best practices here, and I want to give myself the best shot of success because I don't want to waste a lot of time on the infusion of Causality Collapsers and have all sorts of chaos and mess. So each stabilizer, I think, added maybe, so they, I think, also have a diminishing returns effect on stability. So your first pair is going to add a decent amount to your stability, but then when you get down to about your 5th or 6th pair, it starts being very questionable as to whether it's worth it. So if you are on a budget, maybe you go with like just 4 stabilizers or 6 stabilizers, something like that, and then use redstone inlay to fill in the gaps in your circle or however you want to set it up. So let's take a look at the rest of it. So obviously stability of 6.1 gain per cycle seems pretty good. If we come down here, this is the reason it's so high, is the candle basement. And so what we've got down here is 10 of every color of candle. So all skulls, if we take a look at those here, so skeleton skulls, zombie heads, creeper heads, all of the vanilla, so it says there in blue Minecraft, all of those heads are the equivalent. They're all item skulls. So you don't get an extra benefit from using, say, 2 skeleton skulls and 2 zombie heads and 2 creeper heads and 2 wither skulls. Those aren't 4 sets. Those are all just skulls. So that doesn't matter. So really you only probably need like about 4 or 5 pairs of skulls. Now in this setup I do have 6 just for the sake of symmetry. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So 6 pairs of skulls. And then you can see here with the white candles, I've got 5 pairs of each color of candle. So we got 5 white and 5 white. This black spot is directly under my runic altar or runic matrix and central arcane pedestal. So this is my center point. And you can see I've got 5 whites, 5 whites. This direction I've got 5 purples and 5 purples. And again, when you're talking about keeping things symmetrical, if I've got 5 orange going north on the west side, then I want 5 orange going south on the east side. So it's this guy here is down 5 and over 1. This guy here is down 5 and over 1. So you don't have to try and do anything too fancy. You can see here I just put them down in groups of 5. So I got 5 pink here, 5 pink here, 5 red there, 5 red there. And then I tried to keep this a minimal square, so this whole candle fiasco is a 15 by 15, in case you're wondering. But yeah, so this is really helping my stability. And now, if you're watching this and you've heard rules about, no more than 10 paraphernalias count, or you've heard that colors don't matter, well, that's probably a different version of Thaumcraft. For this particular one, 6.1 beta 26, this works. And I know that for a fact because we can look straight at here and see what it does. So that is what we've got. And I know it looks like sort of a mess, but one of the things I did was I went over to Creative World and I just made, and when I was testing this out in the Creative World, I made a copy paste for the Building Gadgets copy paste tool. So you can see it here. That was just this pattern. So I tested this in the Creative World, decided yes, okay, 10 of each color of candle was what I wanted, and I just bashed out 10 of each color of candle. That's 160. So that was a little over 100 tallow and a little over 100 Ignis V to create that tallow. So it was not huge. And about 100 string, I think. About 50 string. So it wasn't super bad. And again, these candles up here are just extras. You can see here I actually sort of overbuilt candles by quite a way. So I just threw some candles up here for lighting. And these like, what is that, 8 pairs of candles up here, 4 pairs of candles up here are only adding like I think 0.04 or something. So 4%. That's, or 0.04 is hardly worth thinking about. So these candles are just for lighting. So I specifically don't have any candles that I care about for stability up here because they are sort of like flowers in that explosions and stuff knock them over really easy. So that's why they're all downstairs. And then the one last thing to talk about, again, trying to maximize stability, since we're going to be making a bunch of causality collapsers, is that under each infusion pillar, I've got an infusion cost stone. So this reduces the cost in V of the recipes, and the cost ones make things more stable and less cost. The speed ones make things faster but more unstable. So these four, they don't affect the stability number that we're seeing here, but I think they reduce the chance of a stability event, from what I understand, in Thaumcraft 6.1 beta 26. So that's the big caveat here that I'm going to repeat over and over and over again. Check your version of Thaumcraft, and if it's not 6.1 beta 26, this isn't necessarily going to work well for you. Just be aware. So that's it, and I think we're all set up and ready to go. 6.1 is a very high number from everything I can tell, and the cost stones underneath the infusion pillars should make that even better. So I am going to just put a layer of marble across the bottom here just so that I can't see sky and sort of clean this up. And then we're going to try and make some causality collapsers. So I will return in a moment. All right, I think we're back, and I think we have all the mats we need to try some of these causality collapsers. So I did close off the spaces down here, down to my candle room, but that lowered the light up here enough that I was starting to get some possible spawn issues right on these spots. So I threw in a few more candles, but just since I've got white candles down below, 5 pairs of them, and then another bunch of pairs up here, those candles took me from 6.1 to 6.11. So 8 more candles only gave me 0.01. So that shows just sort of the diminishing returns. So 5 pairs of each color is about as far as I'm ever going to take it. Anyhow, I've got extras in our hoppers, and we've got everything spaced out. We've got redstone blocks across from redstone blocks, elementum across from elementum, nitor across from nitor. The only one that's a little odd is we, in this recipe, you have morphic resonators across from Viz resonators, or V resonators, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the base stability rate, the fact that these are different. So to show you what I mean by that, I can take something like one of these, and so we're at 6.11. Now if I put something on a pedestal out of position, that 6.11 rate will go down. So if I do that, and then right click on this with my caster's gauntlet to update it, you'll see it went down 0.1 because this sucker isn't balanced with something. So we'll get that out of there. So yeah, I think we're good to go. And I brought up a bunch of alienists and whatever this is, Vidium or whatever. And I'm hoping, so we have enough to make about, I think, 6 causality collapsers if we don't have any problems. And I'm hoping that's enough to get our Primordial Pearl, because we're reaching a point basically my little compact machines pocket dimension room where I'm smelting Essentia is starting to get a little ripe. And I'm either going to have to put in some flux condensers to try and get some more Vidium out of the atmosphere, and or move my Essentia smeltery from the compact machine that it's in over to my nuclear craft reactor room, something like that. And I'm going to have to brew up a whole bunch more of this stuff. So I'm hoping that this will get the job done. If not, it's going to be another, farting around for an hour making more components and stuff. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's see if we can make this sucker work. So we're just going to leap on in here, put some TNT down. So it says it'll do up to 1.6 loss per cycle, and we have a 6.11 gain per cycle. So we're at very stable, and we may have overkilled it with the stabilization, which is good. I'd much rather overkill a situation than underkill it. So we're at very stable, and I'm hoping we just stay right at very stable with no issues. And we're pulling everything in. And there it be. Nice. So we stayed at very stable the entire damn time. This recipe says its instability is very high. However, it is losing 1.6 stability per cycle, and we are gaining 6.11. So a vast overkill on the stabilization. And again, just to say it for the umpteenth time, this is Thaumcraft 6.1 beta 26. If you are doing something other than beta 26, don't count on any of this being the same. So one thing I don't know is if we didn't have those cost reducers underneath the pillars, would this be a higher loss per cycle? I'm not sure. 1.6 seems like an odd number. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like 1.8 or 1.2 if we didn't have those cost reduction ones in there. But this is all going swimmingly, so that is cool. And I'm glad I went cost reduction instead of speed also, because definitely getting plenty of the Vidium is the annoying part of this whole procedure. Alright. Yeah, we're not even budging on stability, so this is a slam dunk, which is good. I like slam dunks. I like to be able to infuse at will with no worries or concerns. And really, I mean, what's doing it all is all the candles below. And the candles were, I don't know, I think I made maybe 100 tallow, which was like 100 rotten flesh from zombies, and 100 ignis, which is the red crystals that you can mine in the deep dark or wherever. And so that was not hard at all to make 160 candles or so. And because Botania's in this pack, and because I had to do a bunch of flower farming just to make sure that we had, could make all of the Botania stuff, I had plenty of flowers. So turning the flower petals into something weird happening. Did I run out of something? Oh, I ran out of something. Oh, I forgot to put extras in here. Okay. Freaked me out for a moment. So then when that loaded up, our gain per cycle got balanced again. So we went from 6.01 back to 6.11, and then it would start working. Anyway, I just forgot to put some stuff in that hopper, or enough stuff in that hopper. Anyway, like I was saying, I had plenty of flowers left over from my flower foraging to, make several dye of each of the 16 flower colors for each of the 16 candle colors. So, I mean, yeah, it was some work, but it wasn't that much work. And to be able to just sit here and do a very unstable thing without any concerns whatsoever, that is cool. And now I know. So in the future, I probably would, I don't know, you could dial it back a bit, but I don't know if I would. Let's see, I'm out of something there. How many have I made? 4. Elementum. I wasn't sure it was going to go this easy, so I wasn't too paying too much attention to how much spares I was putting in each hopper, because I assumed we'd have to, if there were issues, we'd have to reevaluate after the first attempt. But everything is going fine. Keep an eye on my thing here. I've drained 2 of my partial jugs and working on my other ones. So hopefully things go well with the rift closing and we get that Primordial Pearl drop, so that I don't have to spend an hour of my life making more of this essence. That V. Although it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would still. I'd sort of like to move on. Well, I'm really happy with this. Everything's going very nice. I think I had enough of everything to make 6. Redstone blocks. Is that still unbalanced? Oh yeah, I got more here. So this might be the last one. And then we will run over to our Twilight Forest testing facility. There's already at least one rift there, and we can try to close it. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, so I might pause the recording and see if I can figure out. I don't know if you use it just like TNT or what. I don't want to waste this stuff, that's for sure, because then I'll end up having to make more of the Causality Collapsers. But we'll check it out. Alrighty, so this is about done. And bang. I'm pretty sure I'm missing something for more. I got enough for one more in the essence, but I ran out of Nitor and Elementum. I got one there. Oh, and I still have one of those. So let's see, this is the Elementum. And this is the Nitor. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, we got enough for one more. Sweet. And after that, the hard thing will be I'll need to make a bunch more of this stuff. Now, there are things So there are these flux condenser lattice things. The reason I haven't done them yet is I'd have to make some more thaumium, and so it just turns into a big deal. I'd have to make this and set it up, and there's a that and the condenser, this guy that goes with it. But yeah, I don't think I have enough thaumium to make this stuff yet. Or I mean, I don't have enough now. So I need to make some more thaumium and then set this thing up and then try to condense flux out of the air and then try and burn a bunch more mycelium. Anyway, it just turns into an hour of futzing around if these 7 don't get us a Primordial Pearl. But I think we are hopefully going to be in business. Remove everything from here. I don't think it despawns, but why take that chance? Yeah, and then we will head over to Twilight Forest and see about blowing up some rifts. Should be exciting. Or if I'm lucky, it'll be anticlimactic, because, to be honest, I'd just like to get her done. Alright, I'm going to pick up all these as well. Okay. I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to put this stuff away. I'm going to double check how to use our Causality Collapsers. I think you just use them like TNT, but I want to be sure before I waste them. And then we're going to head over to the Twilight Forest. Oh, that reminds me. One of the things I sort of wanted to do when I ran back over there was we made this bad boy, mostly just because it was in the quest book, the Thaumic Dioptra. And so it has 2 modes. This is reporting flux, and this is reporting aura or V or whatever. That's the stuff that is like 774 available in the surrounding 9 chunks around in or around me. But I sort of wanted to take this with us and set it up near our Twilight Forest test facility so that we could see what that graphic looks like for flux when it's a mess, when you're actually causing problems. So I'll bring that with me. Anyway, I'll be back in a second. Okay, we are back in our Twilight Forest testing facility. And I'm going to throw down this Thaumic Dioptra, or whatever you call it. And so that's sort of what the V aura looks like. Oh, and there's the spike where we intentionally caused a rift. So that's pretty cool looking. Let's go ahead and run over here and see if we can close this bad boy. So I googled the situation with this stuff, and apparently it's just you place it. So we're going to go ahead and just, is this going to be close enough? Probably. Hey! Oh, is that the pearl I'm looking for? Maybe. Got it in 1. I think that's the thing we're looking for. That primordial whatchamajigger. I brought a bunch of cobblestone in case we needed to generate more rifts. Another one has already popped up. So we did a good job of contaminating the heck out of that chunk. Let's go ahead and throw this down. And we'll throw all that in there. So we got 7 void seeds and a primordial moat. And we got this. This is the research I was looking for. So let's see what it says. Primordial Pearls. For the first time I find myself with a puzzle that I do not think can be solved. This object contains pure primal aspects, but they possess properties unlike blah 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 blah. Firstly, this pearl could be the remnant of primal matter that was created at the dawn of reality, yada yada. Alternatively, it could be whatever. Either way, the pearl is a potent artifact containing vast magical power and nearly unlimited potential. Vast tracts of land. It is fairly rare to find a whole one, though. Often they have degenerated into nodules or even moats. Even a moat is valuable, though. Alright, so now the question is... so I got the little gold star, new discovered thing. Closing this. That's not my new one. What is new? There it is. Primordial Pearls. And so now if we go to, what would it be? Would it be Oromancy? Greater Foci. Nice. I've reached a dead end with advanced foci, the crystalline matrix, blah, blah, blah. Is this what we want? Let's get the quest book out. It's been a while since I looked at it, since we've been playing around. Let's see. We are after this. Blank Greater Focus. The recipe is still not there, so in theory probably we need to go ahead and do this. So we need a Blank Greater Focus on us, which I don't know if I've made one of these. I have not. Ooh, but I can now. So yeah, we're in business. This Primordial Moat, we can infuse all of this. I don't know that I have 100 vacuos on me. But yeah, we should be in business. And that should be about the end of Thaumcraft for us. I guess I'll go blow up some more rifts just for kicks and giggles. Just to see, you know, if we get any more of these. I probably wouldn't be standing next to them if I wasn't invincible, but... Yep, and there's another one. So we did a good job of contaminating this chunk, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the thing here. We're at 203 and dropping. Let's grab some of this. So I have something to set my... Boom. Yeah, so I'm just right-clicking on a surface, and that's causing the explosion. I'd want to find a way to do that more. I've got weakness on me. That must be from being in that explosion. Anyway. Let's go look at our atomic dioptra and see what this is doing to our profile. If we take a look at this, oh yeah, look, we're down to 63. We're probably done with the rifts here. And that's looking much healthier. Alright. Well, I'm going to leave all this in place in case we need to come... Whoa! I went to right-click my chest and actually used a causality guy on it instead of opening it. That's not what I wanted to do. Alright. So yeah, we're going to go back. I'm going to go see if I have... let's see, we can now... What was that recipe again? get those out of my hand before I accidentally click them on something again. So we're gonna do, we need this, blink greater focus. And we need Ordo I got, Precantatio I got, Vacuos. I don't know if I have Vacuos. So I'm going to go see what kind of runtime we're at already. And I'm going to go see if I have enough Vacuos. And maybe we can make this and close out the Thaumcraft chapter. Close enough. Let's head back. Alrighty. So let's go into, where's my stuff? Get my personal shrinker back out. Let's see how much Vacuos we have. I'll be amazed if we have 100 Vacuos, because I don't think I've needed it for anything. But we could get lucky. No, 38. Alright, well, I'm going to pause the recording here. And I'm going to get us some Vacuos, and we'll try and make that greater focus and close Thaumcraft chapter for good. Be right back. Okay, so we had the blank advanced focus that we made to open up the previous quest slot. Quicksilver we got, no problems. We got a primordial moat. I'm a little worried about that, more in a second on that. We got nether stars coming out of our ears thanks to our wither farm. I was a little worried about Vacuos, but it turns out it's easy. It's mostly on containers and bowls, little wooden bowls. Give you 5 with only some, spare herba or whatever that is to worry about. So that was pretty fast and easy. So let's place down this stuff. Doink, doink, doink. Let me double check, make sure I got the right stuff. Ordo, Precantatio, and Vacuos. Yes. Now what worries me a bit is if we look at the recipe in the book here, it's showing basically an ore dictionary kind of thing that's saying you can use motes and pearls and nodules, etc. But when I look at the recipe here that is now open, it's only showing pearls. So hopefully they haven't tweaked the recipe in Enigmatica 2 Expert to make this harder, and I have to keep closing rifts and closing rifts until I get an intact pearl, because that could take forever. I don't think that's what's going on, but it is something that if something goes wrong here, that's probably what it's going to be. So let's go ahead and set this up. We're so stable. This thing's only moderate, and this setup is so damn stable. I don't think it could go wrong unless we intentionally made it go wrong. So double check this. Yep, 6.11. If it stays 6.11, then I know that everything is still balanced pedestal-wise. And then we're gonna go ahead and put that there. And click this. So we are very stable. It's only going to lose up to 1 loss per cycle. We gain 6.11, so should be no problem. It's taken in the Precantatio. It accepted the primordial moat as a component, so I think we're in good shape. Still very stable, so we're not going to have any stability issues. It's got the Ordo in it. Now it's taken the Vacuos. slowly. Almost. Yeah, it's sucking up the components. And it's taking the primordial mote. And boom! Blink greater focus. Nice. And you know what that means? That means we are done. Another green check mark. We are done with Thaumcraft. So this is starting to look pretty green. Super green, if we're talking fifth element style. Oh, and this stayed. I'm glad I noticed that. I didn't even think to look. Let's pull that off of there. So it used up some of its power, so its damage bar or its energy bar is lower, but it did give it to us. So that's sort of interesting because that means that in theory, now again, we're so far along in the tech tree and I'm invincible from environmental tech, personal beacon, and I'm just sort of, bashing my way through the end of the quest book. But if I was, if Thaumcraft was one of the first things I was doing, then that would be cool because I could potentially make more Blake Greater Foci. So I could have one for attack, and I could have one for mining or whatever. So that's actually pretty cool that not only did it take it, but it didn't use all of it up. So I'm going to put some of this stuff away. And I'm sort of tempted to actually make a focus now, even though I don't really need it. There might be something cool here. So we can do all sorts of... I don't need a damage one because I don't think anything's going to make me as happy as my laser gun. But I can maybe make an exchange kind of thing. I've already got a bunch of tools for that. Alright, so we're just going to clean this stuff up. And that is it, and that's the episode. So we have closed Thaumcraft, and we have closed... Is that all the magic chapters? Let's see. Yeah, there's no actual stuff to do on Psi, or no quests to complete on Psi, or Mystical Agriculture. And we have now closed Thaumcraft and Astral Sorcery and Britannia and Blood Magic. So there's no quest thing for advanced rocketry. There is one for advanced rocketry, pardon me. So this is probably the next major thing we got to get into, is traveling to other planets and whatnot, which could be fun. On one hand, I'm interested in it. I want to do it. On the other hand, when I was looking at this stuff and getting all of these machines and the mats it was going to take to make it, it looked a little daunting. But heck, I made it through Blood Magic. I can make it through anything. I swear that sucker's was going to kill my hand with all the sacrificing and clicking and demon willing and yada yada. Click, 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 click. Alright, I'll stop babbling. We are going to call it an end. In between this episode and next, I might just sort of look through recipes and whatnot, see if there's anything we want to make now that we have this thing. I don't need the V discount probably anymore, which is the reason I was sort of wearing this stuff. We did make... we're invincible, so we don't really need to make anything just for making it. Am I sane enough? Did I make it out of this sane enough that I don't need to worry about? Oh, I am pretty insane. There's like a little rift in my brain. Nice. Alright, so maybe that's what we're doing next episode. Next episode, we might be trying to cure insanity. That's probably, for me, like standing in the rift explosion like an idiot because I'm invulnerable, so I can't take health damage, but I didn't think that it might drive me insane. I have peered into the void a bit too much, it looks like. So yeah, that top left corner. I love how there's like a little vibrating rift in my brain. So probably what we're going to do next time is we do have an arcane spa. So we do have one of these that we made for the quest book. And I did make, or I don't actually know if that was in the quest book, but we can make, in fact, I still have them bookmarked in case I did go insane. Purifying bath salts, we can make some of that. And sanitizing soap, we can make some of that. So I'll look around and see if we can, I might have to spend either between episodes or spend next episode curing my insanities. Because I have a feeling I'm going to get debuffs left and right with my brain looking like that. Alright, now I'm really going to call it an end. But I think that I'm glad I checked that because that's an important safety tip. Don't be an idiot like me and just blow the rift up while you're standing right next to it. Try to find a safer way of doing that. Just in case. And maybe this happens no matter how you close a rift, but I have a feeling it was me standing in a couple of rifts that caused it. Because I certainly wasn't that bad before. Alright, anyway, that's a wrap. Talk to you again next time. Bye.